A new study shows a high concentration of microplastics in the Tennessee River. It's higher here than in rivers in Germany and even China. The study took hundreds of samples from the headwaters north of Knoxville all the way to Paducah, where it flows into the Ohio River. Now, those tiny bits of plastic could hurt fish and even get into our drinking water. 10 News reporter Cole Sullivan has details of the study and how the river system got this way.
It started in 2017 with a German in the water.
The first impression I have, if you do freestyle and you enter with the hands in front of your head and you see your hands, that's a good sign.
Dr. Andreas Foth swimming from Knoxville to Paducah with a team of researchers alongside.
He was able to swim the entire Tennessee River in a world record time of 34 days.
Now he's dried off, headed home to Germany, and the research team has its results.
By and large, I would say yes, the Tennessee is a pretty darn clean river.
But project manager Martin Knoll says there's one major exception.
The big shocker is definitely the story about the microplastics. There are a lot of plastic particles.
Tiny plastic particles that could pose a risk to life in the river and alongside it.
They have a negative impact on both the aquatic life and perhaps on the people that might be using the river as a drinking water source.
In fact, he says they found higher levels here than in other rivers in far more populated areas.
To my knowledge, we found the highest concentrations of microplastics ever found in any river in the world.
They think most of the microparticles come from larger pieces of trash.
Plastic never really goes away, it just breaks down into ever smaller particles.
Landfill litter like plastic bags, straws, and other packaging breaking down into tiny pollutant particles found in the waters of the Tennessee. Cole Sullivan, WBIR 10 News.
And we reached out to KUB to ask if microplastics are filtered out of the drinking water. It says right now there aren't any regulations about microplastics and they don't test for them. Researchers caution, though, they are just starting to study if and how the plastic impacts humans.